Hello, I am Thortrilisk, and welcome to the Cosmere. The Cosmere is the shared universe of most of Brandon Sanderson's fantasy books. This includes Mistborn, Stormlight Archive, Elantris, and Warbreaker, along with others. Now, there's a lot of really cool things about the Cosmere as it stands, but I think one of the biggest draws to it is just the way that Brandon Sanderson writes his books. Now, there's a lot of things he does really well, and a lot of reasons people like it, but I think there's two really big reasons. The first one is, he writes really interesting magic systems. Magic systems that have limits and costs. And they're not just arbitrary. Like, they're very understandable. You can understand the way that it works, and he tries to explain the way it works. And this makes it such that when something happens in the story, using the magic in a new or different way, you look at that, and it just seems like it makes sense that it went that way. Right? Like, you can look back in the story and go, oh yeah, I see how it came out that way. The second thing he does is he makes really interesting characters. Now, a lot of writers make really interesting characters, but Brandon Sanderson sets himself apart in that his characters, aside from the main plot of the story, they all have a different big challenge they're working through. Often, this manifests itself in mental health problems. So one of my favorite characters struggles with what would be classified as depression, and maybe a little bit of PTSD. And it really adds a lot to him, but also, he doesn't just feel like the character that is there to have PTSD because Brandon Sanderson wants to put out a message about it. He feels like a really great character, and that's just an extra layer to his character. And he doesn't feel like a stereotype or a caricature. And Brandon Sanderson's able to do this because he talks to a lot of people who have had these experiences and who experience these difficulties, and after he writes the characters, he has them read it. He has a lot of beta readers that test his things and make sure that they accurately display this challenge. And this also applies to people who have different ideals and philosophies to Brandon Sanderson. He writes them the same way. Writes them interesting. He makes it seem like they are entirely valid in their thought process, even though it's totally different to the way that Brandon Sanderson thinks. Now, these things, in addition to his other skills as an author, his other skills of plotting and pacing and other things that make a great author, these things really add a lot, and I think that those and the others are why he is my favorite author, and why he has gained a large following all over. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.